You're watching First Pitch with the Prez, Dave Cokin, the legend himself, and Dwayne, the champ. Bryant, the champ, because you made the most profit for all customers in 2018. But Dwayne, we're halfway through 2019. I feel like that was yesterday's news.
It is. I mean, I don't even know why you bring it up anymore. This is what have you done for me lately business. So,
ain't that the truth?
What happened last year is pretty irrelevant at this point.
Ain't that the truth, brother? I went 8-0 run. I released a 5-unit play yesterday on the LA Dodgers -1.5, up 8-6 in the ninth. What have you done for me lately? Dave Cokin, you look good in the baby blue. What's up, brother?
Things are good. And what have you done for me lately? Plus 53% net profit gain over the last month. Another 4% winner yesterday. I only made one play, as it turned out, which was the first 5 on the Marlins. That got there. So, and by the way, we mentioned, look, not for nothing, but with all the people at WagerTalk, the top 3 money makers from last year in net profits are on your screen right now.
Damn straight, brother. Dwayne first, me second, you third, and it was within points of each other. I mean, it came down to the last few days. Johnny and I are talking about putting together something where there will be 1,000 or so reward to the person who does it in 2019. We're working that out now. Guys, we got to get moving because I have to drive to my kids' camp today, and it's a 3-hour drive. First, some quick business. Dwayne, you didn't watch our show yesterday. Maybe you did, but whatever the case is, we offered a week of anybody's service free if they sent a picture in with a Raleigh Fingers mustache. So that's number one. Now, look, it's disputable. I mean, it doesn't curl, but I gave it to him because, well, it's ridiculous. And if you're going to walk around with a ridiculous mustache, you can have a week free. The next guy rocked it out. I mean, nice. Look at that stash. Not only that, good. But whoever you are, this guy, whoever you are, I don't even know your name, whoever you are, Missy and my girlfriend both said they do you.
It's Raleigh Fingers Jr.
Yeah, they were very impressed. They were like, my girl was like, oh my God, he's hot. Get rid of that stupid mustache, and that guy's a stud. Missy literally texted, I kid you not, I will show you the text. Where is it? There it is. I'd do him. See, I'd do him. First pitch, 3 games in the daytime today. We're going to start with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. As I said, I was on a 5-unit play on the Dodgers last night. They lost Philly 9-8 winner. What an exciting game. Today we've got Maeda versus Pivetta. The Dodgers opened at -155. It's been bet down. It's down to 141. The over and under is 10.5 in this game. Dave, I go to you first. What do you like?
Well, if you're looking at current form, you got to go all Dodgers here because Maeda's been pretty good lately. And one really great stat that he's got this year for the season is hard hit rate. Again, we'll always mention that's exit velocity of 95 or better on batted balls. Only 29% for the season, Maeda, which in 2019 is really outstanding. Nick Pivetta has been awful. For the Phillies, 5 straight bad starts. Dodgers probably a little upset about letting one get away last night as Kenley Jensen served up a bad 9th inning, including the game winner by Bryce Harper. I would think the Dodgers bounce back. The market slightly disagrees. Little smattering of money on Philadelphia here, but I would look at the favorite.
Dwayne, I know you like totals. Obviously, you can talk sides too. The total in this game is 10.5. The bullpens have to be a mess, especially Phillies. I like the over, but very slightly. I mean, I'm outright passing on this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, I do like to look at the games from a totals perspective, and if you can tell by the way I talk that I'm heavy into the numbers. I don't get to watch a lot of the games, so I do rely on the statistics a lot. I love the advanced metrics. I do lean over in this game. Maeda has, definite home road splits here. Big difference, 2.26 ERA at home with an 0.81 WHIP and 4.25 strikeouts per walk. But you get him on the road where he is today. It's a 5.44 ERA, a 1.31 WHIP, and the strikeout per walk goes down to 2.5. When I look at Nick Pivetta at home, a 1.63 WHIP, a 3.13 batting average allowed. Against the Dodgers lineup that averages 5.8 runs per road night game against righties. They own two of my favorite offensive metrics are WRC plus and BBK, which is walks per strikeout. The Dodgers own a 120 WRC plus against righties, which means they're 20% above league average. That's number one in the league. And their .51 walks per strikeout is number 2 in the league. So when going against Pivetta and a Phillies bullpen that is just a disaster, I got to lean slightly to the over in this one.
Dave?
I want to bring up a couple of stats really quickly. These are general stats. Because one of the things I've noticed this year, and anybody who follows baseball has noticed it, is the extraordinary prevalence of home runs. We're going to shatter all previous records. And that has rendered, in my opinion, a couple of the advanced metric stats as basically useless. And XFIP is at the top of the list. I think anybody who's using XFIP at this point, you're hurting yourself. It is it's at this point, even though it hasn't been around that long, it's an archaic stat because it's weighted heavily on home runs. As far as pitchers are concerned, everybody's giving up home runs this year. It's now a stat that I think is misleading, will hurt you more than it helps you. The other is the I lost. High leverage bullpen ERA. I read a rundown on this today. There's only one bullpen in all of baseball. There's only one bullpen with a high leverage ERA of less than 4 this season. So if you're wondering why games are going over late and why teams aren't holding leads late, there's the stat that proves it out.
Guys, some quick business. Dwayne, Dave, I want to talk to you guys about what's going on at WagerTalk. All the listeners, Cal Sports, Ralph Michaels, as good as it gets. He's on an 8-2 run in his MLB 5 unit plays. He has an MLB 5 unit play up today. You guys can have it for half price, $15. Use the promo code RALPH15. That's RALPH15. That's actually not how he spells his name, but it's RALPH15. $15 for Ralph Michaels 5 unit play. Kevin Dolan, absolutely rolling in Canadian football. He's got a 5% play that goes on Friday, and don't miss Brady Cannon. Brady Cannon only does golf. That's it. It's $19, regular $30. He's got 6 bets for the Open Championships that start Thursday. Make sure to check that out at WagerTalk.com. San Diego, Padres, Miami. If you listened to the show yesterday, every one of us liked Miami. Dave, did you get down on Miami yesterday?
Yeah, as I mentioned at the top, when you clearly weren't paying attention because you were enamored with the Mustache guys, the only play I made yesterday was the first 5 of the Marlins, and that was a pretty easy winner.
Cha-ching, Dave Cokin calls me out. Richards versus Paddock. Richards, what a mess, especially his last 3 starts, 7.8 ERA. He's at home. He's hosting San Diego. San Diego came out, opening line, minus 150. It's around minus 150 still. The over and under, very low, 7.5. Dave, I go to you first. I like the over in this game. I'll tell you that right off the bat. Where are you going?
Line might be a little short in this one. I think Padres probably should be a slightly bigger favorite, more in the 160 range. Paddock has been pretty solid for the most part. Hard hit percentage is a little bit high, 45% is that level of the scale I don't really like that much. But Richards, you mentioned this. Richards is not in good form at all for the Marlins. He's been an average pitcher overall, but is not in good form right now. And I would look for the Padres to be able to exploit him to some extent. They're swinging the bats pretty well. That's somewhat accurate. Miami had a huge offensive night last night. That doesn't happen very often. I would look for normalcy to return and would lean to the Padres here.
Dwayne, what do you think?
As far as the total goes, I don't have a really, an opinion on this one. Paddock's got good numbers overall, better at home, still decent on the road. Miami's never faced him, so he does have or should have an early game edge there. Like you mentioned, Richards not in good current form at all. Neither team has really good offensive numbers as far as what I look at. Padres with a 93 WRC plus and a .29 walks per strikeout against righties, both subpar numbers. Same for Miami, 85 WRC plus is third worst in the league against righties. .30 walks per strikeout, definitely a poor number as well. The Padres pen is pretty solid. The Miami pen can't be trusted. At 7.5, I just don't have a strong opinion on this one either way.
Seattle, loser again last night to Oakland, 9-2. Oakland's won 5 in a row. Seattle's lost 5 in a row. Oakland with Bailey.
That's a day game. Are we doing day games?
Is that a day? Oh, that is a day game. Yay, I don't need to discuss it. Move on.
Here's a good way of if a game at Oakland is the top game in the rotation, it's probably a day game, see, because that's...
Dave, you're just a genius, man. You're just a wealth of knowledge.
I'm trying to get Teddy's red cards for being snotty.
Yeah, I don't actually have a red card lying around, but I'm happy to institute it with you next week. You've been snotty twice on me, but that's okay. You're the baseball expert, and I'm the host.
I want to just throw this out, though, on that game. This is last night we talked about Andrew Kastner. Despite the fact he pitched really well for Baltimore, was in his first meaningful start of the entire season because it was his first start for a contending team. He did not pitch well for the Red Sox. Homer Bailey has been, I think you can argue, better than expected this year, but he hasn't pitched in a meaningful game all year long, pitching for the Royals. This is his first meaningful start of the season, now pitching for the contending A's. I might be a little reluctant to back him.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dave. Let's talk Tampa Bay, New York Yankees. Yankees won 8-3 yesterday. Sabathia versus Stanek. Today we've got Germain versus Chirino. Minus 155 to the home team. It's barely been touched. Minus 157 now. The over and under is 10. Where are you going with this one, Dave?
Yeah, Chirinos is the bad luck guy on Tampa because he's pitching terrific baseball. His numbers as a starter have been really outstanding. He's had 7 straight, what I would call, on the grading scale I use, 7 straight quality starts. Really low hard hit percentage, which is attractive. Game scores are fantastic. 65 average game score on the road this year. But the Rays can't win. When he starts, they don't score him any runs. And that might be the case again today because he's facing Germán for the Yankees, who's also in really good form right now. And generally when he takes them on, the Yankees do some damage. So my numbers say there's value in Chirinos, but you just got to look at the chart, and they just don't do well when he pitches. Sometimes it's a matter of luck. I think the line's too high to play based on those numbers, but I just can't go against the Yankees in this spot, even with what appears to be value on the Tampa side.
Dwayne, I know you like talking totals. The number here is 10. For me, I struggle with totals with the Yankees because they can really come out and put up an 8 spot against any team, any pitcher in the league. And in this game, you have a situation where Tampa Bay can really get not shut out in this game, but I feel like this is an under. So it's a pass for me because I feel like it's an under, but I can't take unders in Yankee games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do lean under the 10 here. Chirinos is pretty consistent between home and road. His 0.94 whip is actually fourth best in the league out of the 129 starters that have pitched at least 50 innings. His 4.18 strikeouts per walk is 32nd out of those same 129 starters. Germán has been better at home. His strikeouts per 9 innings goes from 7.88 up to 12.39 at home. Homers are big this year. His home runs per 9 innings goes from 1.97 to 0.74 at home. The Yankees, again, like you said, strong offensive numbers, 119 WRC plus against righties, third best in the league. Tampa Bay has a solid 109 WRC plus against righties. The New York pen is solid. The Tampa Bay pen is okay. So we shouldn't see too many late runs in this game, I wouldn't think, and so I'm leaning under 10.
On the same page, my brother. Dwayne Bryant with us. He won't be with us next Wednesday. His regular spot is on Wednesday, but he has taken his family on vacay. Orlando, here we come. Dwayne, if I don't speak to you, have an incredible trip.
Thanks, man.
Tomorrow's show. Sorry, Dave.
While you're in the area, you're not too far away from it. Make sure to not attend a Tampa Bay Rays game because nobody else does either. So you can join the crowd and stay away from their games.
Oh,
no
look
problem
at that.
There.
Dave is on fire today, everyone. Tomorrow, Dave Cokin and Tony Finn. Friday, the best show ever. Brian Leonard. Dwayne, I don't know if you ever listened to Brian and Dave talk baseball. I mean, you are a god. I'm winning. Those two, though, those two talking baseball. For baseball people, that it would be a threesome, but the Prez sucks. So it's just one hell of a conversation. What's up? Toronto, Boston. Toronto won last night. Dave, you mentioned it. You were talking about it a bit with a terrible outing. Before we get into this, and I know we're in a rush, but Dave, just bottom line this. Why aren't we just blindly betting against Toronto, Seattle, and Baltimore?
It's probably not the worst idea in the world, especially when Aaron Sanchez is on the mound. His middle initial should be L for loss. They lose every time he starts. What is it, 10 straight, something like that now? He's awful. And Eduardo Rodriguez is the opposite. The Red Sox win almost every time he pitches. Their winning percentage in his starts the last 2 years is unbelievable.
Well, this year is 14-5.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. That's not as good as last year, which tells you how good he was last year. And part of it is that Rodriguez is not a great pitcher, but he doesn't kill himself with big innings because he avoids a lot of hard hit balls. Among starting pitchers, this is about as low as it gets. 28% hard hit balls this year, which is spectacularly low for 2019. Most of the guys are in that 35 to 45 range, and he's down to 28%, which is amazing. Red Sox are huge favorites here, and with very good reason. And they have, I don't even know why there's any money showing on Toronto. There's a little, I guess, big dog hunting, but won't be my money, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, look, the Boston came out at minus 165. It's been bet down to minus 238. But those are big tickets because 71% of the actual tickets have been written on Boston. So there's obviously some money coming in on Toronto.
And I'll quickly say why. You've gone through this a number of times about how the Red Sox, using your phrasing, have been a money burner for their customers. Boy, have they ever. And it continued again last night as they're big favorites and they just don't get there. And they're down whatever it is, 17 units for the season if you're betting the Red Sox blind. It's been really ugly. So there's people just firing against them whenever they're big chalk.
Yeah, 18 units on the season, 19 on the run line. Dwayne, let's talk about the total in this game because it is of interest to me. The number is 11, and the bottom line is, look, Toronto has had an outstanding batting 2 games, but before that, they could barely hit the ball. We expect Boston to put up runs here tonight. I don't know if Toronto's going to. Yesterday, I told everyone to bet the over in the Toronto game, and it went over. I like the under in this game, and just for the record, breaking the rules, I like Boston minus 1.5 here, too. I think this game has 6, 7, 8, 1 or 2 written all over it.
Yeah, with the total at 11, I don't have a real strong lean either way here. Obviously, Aaron Sanchez is not good at all. He's even worse on the road. Rodriguez is better at home. His home runs per 9 goes from 1.64 on the road down to 0.99 at home. Toronto, like you said, they might have been done good offensively lately, but regression, that should hit today against Rodriguez. They only averaged 3.7 runs in road night games against lefties, and Boston's got some solid numbers against righties. Their 119 WRC plus is second best in the league. They average 6.1 runs in home night games against righties. While they do have a solid bullpen, Toronto's bullpen can definitely be scored on. Too many conflicting numbers here for me, so at 11, it's a definite pass.
Dwayne Bryant, Dave Cokin, the Prez First Pitch. You can watch us Monday to Friday at WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. Don't forget, Ralph Michaels has a 5-unit play in baseball tonight. It's yours for half price. Use the promo code RALPH, RALPH, 15. No need to respond to this, but I'm reading the Jimmy Page biography. Holy crap, did Led Zeppelin get up to a whole lot of shenanigans in that 10-year period. One of the highlight stories, there was like 20 groupies in John Bonham's room, and John Bonham put Jimmy Page naked on one of those food gurneys, rolled him into the room, and the guy was devoured by all 20 groupies. To be Jimmy Page, but what they did to the hotel rooms, oh my God. Anyway, Cleveland 8-0 win last night over Detroit. Matchups the same, Cleveland versus Detroit, Clevenger versus Turnbull. Cleveland came out at minus 250. Dave, there's a 300 on the board. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mentioned before, I like Spencer Turnbull. I think he's a guy who's going to be a solid big league pitcher for the Tigers. He'll slide down the rotation once Mize and Manning get up there next year probably. But he's not bad. But he's got a bad team behind him, and he's up against a really good pitcher, Mike Clevenger, who, when he's healthy, is just outstanding. Clevenger's, I think, under the radar because, I know he'll have the occasional outing where his mechanics get a little bit out of whack and his control goes bad. But those are the anomaly these days. When he's right, he's as good as it gets out there. I mean, he's a number 1 level pitcher, and he's been great at home. Small sample because of the injury issues this year. He missed a lot of time. But these numbers at home are spectacular. And another pitcher who ties in to that low hard hit percentage rate, only 29%. So he's a tough guy to get barrels on. And teams don't know how to manufacture runs anymore. They've got to hit homers to score runs. The Tigers don't figure to hit homers against this guy. Looks like a winner for the Indians.
Yeah, and the Indians are rolling right now. They've won 3 in a row, 8 of their last 10. I mean, to me, Cleveland, Boston parlay looks good to me right now. Dwayne, over and under is 9. I don't know how Detroit's going to help this game go over.
Yeah, I agree. I lean under the 9 here. Turnbull, his home runs per 9, his whip, and his batting average allowed are all better on the road. Dave mentioned Clevenger being very good at home. 107 batting average allowed and 071 whip in Cleveland. Small sample size, but definitely dominant. The Tigers haven't hit Clevenger well. 63 plate appearances. They only own a 143 average and a 488 OPS against him. Just the Tigers as a whole, 3.5 runs per road night game against righties. Their 78 WRC plus against righties is dead last in Major League Baseball. And Cleveland's only averaged 3.8 runs in home night games against righties also. Indians' bullpen is solid. Obviously, the Tigers' pen is always a concern, but even with that factored in, I still lean under 9 here.
Well, I'm with you, brother. Chicago White Sox playing Kansas City. The White Sox, small dog, Kansas City at 129 to 134, over and under 10.5. I don't need to overthink this. I know Duffy is doing okay. But frankly, if I'm going to get Kansas City as a favorite, I'm just going to blindly take the other team. Dave?
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that.
I mean, the White Sox have lost 5 in a row. I get it. They got annihilated yesterday. But, if you stick to that rule and just take Kansas against Kansas City as a favorite, you've got to be up a ton.
I don't know what their record is as a favorite. They haven't been favored that often.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing on the White Sox, though, is they're getting a little short-handed because Tim Anderson's been out, and now Eloy Jimenez, I think, is probably going to end up in the 10-day IL. He's dinged up. So, the lineup, and this is an offensive team, the lineup is getting a little bit scratchy. No, not much to choose between Nova and Duffy. A couple of numbers that might indicate Duffy a little bit. He's got a decent hard hit rate, and Nova. When Nova's mistakes are getting hit a long way. His home run to fly ball ratio is over 20% this year. So when he's not getting the ball down in the zone and getting grounders, which he needs to get to survive to thrive, he's getting into some trouble. I'm not laying 130 with the Royals in this spot. It looks like a toss-up to me. So you can make a value case for the Royals, for the White Sox, but I don't generally make a bet just because of value. And I don't see anything else to point me either way here.
Dwayne, this is a stone cold under to me. Chicago White Sox haven't gotten more than 3 runs in their last 7 games. And if you go through their last 5 games, it's 0-2-2-2-1. 10.5 on the board. I understand Kansas City is hitting the ball, but come on, man. I mean, the White Sox are going to have to at least get 4 for this to go over.
Well, I actually do lean slightly to the over in the game. Nova's numbers are poor no matter how you slice them. Duffy doesn't really have a big difference between his home and road numbers. I'm not a fan of his 2.06 strikeouts per walk. It's 114th out of those 129 starters that have thrown at least 50 innings. The White Sox do have some weak numbers against lefties. 4.3 runs in road night games. The .28 walks per strikeout is 3rd worst in the league against lefties. What I do like about the over here is, number one, both bullpens can definitely be scored on. I'm not a fan of either of these bullpens. And the weather in this game is conducive to an over. It's supposed to be 94 degrees at the start of the game with humidity. The feel-like temp is supposed to be over 100 degrees. Yeah. The wind's blowing out at like 13 miles per hour to left field, so the ball should travel well. So if I had to, I would actually lean to the over here.
For all our listeners who don't live in America, 94 degrees, I think that's 32-ish. Anyway, Houston versus the Angels. Dave, you love this Angels team right now. They just won again, 7-2. This team is on fire. They've won 5 in a row. We know that they're rallying right now. I mean, they are not in the playoffs yet, but we've got 69 or so games still to go. Houston minus 180, over and under is 9.5. It's Cole versus Pena. The bottom line here for me is I'm not stepping in the way of the Angels, and now I get a chance to get them as a dog.
Yeah, it'll be an opener. And then Felix Pena for the Angels. So bear that in mind if you're going to bet this game. You might want to go cold versus action. because Pena's listed as the starter, but unless I'm missing something, they always have an opener for Pena. So, yeah, we know how hot the Angels are. They're playing great ball. But I think this is a spot where the Astros might get them. The first two games of the series, the Astros have had to go with bullpen, and it's been really bad. Garrett Cole is obviously a starting pitcher, and they're going to expect him to go out there and go long tonight, give them 6 or 7 innings, maybe even more. It's a unique situation because of the Skaggs tragedy, but in normal situations, I want to look to go against the pitcher who's coming off a no-hitter. Now, I know it was a combined no-hitter with another pitcher, but still, Pena was just out of his mind in that game, and everything was out of its mind in that game for the Angels. Pena's not that good. I think he runs into trouble here. The Astros probably a little bit pissed off about last night. They weren't happy. I mean, clearly, Noe Ramirez, he was saying it was a pitch that got away from him. Look, he threw it, Marisnik. The bench is emptied. And I think that situation's over. I don't think there's going to be any more retribution. The Angels better hope there's not, because Cole throws almost 100 miles an hour. But I do think the Astros come out with a little bit of a mission of their own tonight, and they're a very tough team to sweep. They've only been swept in a 3-game series once all season. So I think the Astros win tonight. Now, what to do with the game, with the price being where it is, that's something you'll have to figure out on your own, because I don't know about laying that kind of lumber on the road. But I would not be excited about taking the Angels as home dogs tonight.
Dwayne, I like the over in this game. Both teams are hitting the ball really well, especially the Angels. 7-9, 6-9, 13, and 10 in their last 6 games. Both pitchers can be hit. Over 9 for me.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on this one either. Garrett Cole, excellent numbers, 5.72 strikeouts per walk and a 103 whip on the season. Both are ranked 9th out of those 129 starters that have gone at least 50 innings. Pena's got consistent home road numbers, decent, 212 batting average allowed, a 113 whip, pretty decent numbers there. But these are two really good offenses, ranked highly in, WRC plus and walks per strikeout against righties. We got solid bullpen on the Houston side. The Angels' pen is in really good current form. But with two really good offenses like this, it's going to be a pass for me.
Washington playing in Baltimore. Oh, my God, this Baltimore team. Washington won last night 8-1. It's Brooks versus Feed on the mound today. Washington minus 190-ish. It did open at minus 225. Dave, we spoke about this yesterday. There was money coming in on Baltimore yesterday. You didn't understand it, and I don't understand it today.
Well, again, it's a huge price. And I guess they're looking at the rivalry factor. I guess, look, you can probably make a case, boy, that's an awfully big price for the Nationals on the road. I don't know if it is or not. I think it's about the right price. Eric Fetty, acceptable for the Nationals. Aaron Brooks, unacceptable for the Orioles. Another guy they picked off when nobody else wanted him. He had been with Oakland, and he's really not a major league pitcher. Nationals are pass. I guess I'll pass on it, but I'm not going to try and talk anybody off playing the Nationals. They continue to do really well.
They're one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've won 5 of their last 6. They've won 8 of 10. They're pitching really, really well right now, and Baltimore can't hit the ball. Dwayne, we have an 11 on the board. This game's going under to me.
I mean, I'm not going to be on this game. I mean, if I absolutely had to, I would probably play the over 11. Fetty's getting recalled from AAA Fresno to make this start. He does have a 3.79 ERA on the season, but in my opinion, that's very misleading. He's got an 80.4% left on base percentage. That's a pretty lucky number right there. A 1.16 strikeouts per walk is a very low number. Usually guys that have a number that low don't have a sub-4 ERA. The one thing he does have working in his favor is that these Orioles hitters have never faced him, so he should have an early game edge. Aaron Brooks, I don't know about you guys, but every time I think of the name Aaron Brooks, it makes me think of the Saints quarterback from like 15 years ago. I don't know. Every time I hear this guy's name, it makes me think of the Aaron Brooks that quarterbacked the Saints like around 2003, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But he's making his second start for Baltimore since coming over from Oakland. He pitched 2 2/3 scoreless innings in his debut against Tampa Bay 4 days ago. But, only Adam Eaton and Yan Gomes have faced him, and it was only 7 combined plate appearances. So he could see an early game edge as far as unfamiliarity goes. But we've got 2 bad bullpens again. I don't trust either one for sure. It's another game where the weather's going to be hot and humid with the wind blowing out the right. So whether that's enough to get it over or not, I don't know. But I definitely can't play an under with 2 bad bullpens. Maybe a first 5 under on this game, but a full game over possibly. But I'm passing either way.
Yeah, the market's bombing the over in that game. It's going from 10.5 to now 11.5. I'm seeing mostly 11s, but market is clearly on the over.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow about how the market was wrong. Texas have lost 3 in a row. Arizona, they've won 5 of 7. They're the last game on tap today. Arizona is minus 120. The over and under is 10.5. I need to finish this show. Dave, go.
Well, I don't have much to say in the game.
Good. Dwayne, go.
Dave, you don't have anything?
Jesse Chavez is coming back to earth after pitching over his head for a while. I mean, the guy's been around a long time, and he's just not that good a pitcher. And he appears to be regressing. Robbie Ray's a guy I tend to stay away from because you don't know from one game to the next.
Yeah, he's so inconsistent.
Exactly. His control is what's inconsistent. When he's got his control, he's really good. And when he doesn't, he stinks. So he's just a pitcher. I have a tendency to, if he's pitching, it's like, okay, I'll move to the next game. And that's what I'm doing here.
Dwayne, finish the show.
I lean to the over 10.5 here. Ray's numbers between home and road are pretty consistent. He is slightly better at home. The Rangers hitters have actually hit him well. They've combined for 86 plate appearances. They own a 938 OPS against him. Jesse Chavez has not been as good at home. His ERA goes from 265 on the road to 528 at home. The OPS goes from 659 up to 852 at home. And his home runs per 9, which really catches my attention based on how things have gone this year. His home runs per 9 goes from 0.72 on the road up to 235 at home. And again, the Diamondbacks have hit him very well. Only 52 combined plate appearances, but a 956 OPS against him. Both pens are capable of giving up late runs in this game as well. So it's a lean to the over 10.5.
Guys, let me end on this real quick. Dave, me and you have been on the show a couple of days this week. One thing we haven't discussed is the tennis. I know we don't bet. Most people don't.
That match on Sunday, my God.
Yeah, what I want to talk about really quick is, Dave, Dwayne, we're all bettors. We bet like crazy. I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan. I could care less about them right now. I cheer for whoever my money is on. Same with the Raptors, same with whichever team I'm on. Dave, you were talking yesterday about how you will bet against Boston. They're the only team left that you're a fan of. What we witnessed on Sunday from a fandom perspective was something that it's generational. You literally had a situation where Wayne Gretzky was doing 100 shootouts against Patrick Waugh, and we were able to watch. You had Sandy Koufax pitching against Cy Young, and we were able to watch. You had Muhammad Ali pitching against 100-pound heavier Sugar Ray Leonard, and we were able to watch. The 3 greatest tennis players in the history of the sport played a semifinals together and then a finals together. The fact that you can get the greatest of the great, at the same age, give or take, in the same era, playing in the finals. Generational might not be the word. We're talking, I don't recall in any sport at any time where the three greatest players of all time faced each other. That match was ridiculous. The fifth set was potentially the greatest set I've ever seen. It was a treat.
Yeah, and it, by the way, for those who've argued against gambling and saying, well, that's all the fans are going to care about if it's legalized wagering everywhere, well, that's bullshit because, like a lot of people, I didn't have a penny on the tennis match.
No.
I didn't care. I watched every second of it. It was absolutely epic. And if they were playing a rematch tonight, as much as I love baseball, I'd be watching the tennis again.
5-hour tennis match, and we complain about 3-hour baseball games. Dave, it was like 92 degrees. I was at the cottage, and I sat indoors for 5 hours. Dwayne, did you?
It was awesome. Fantastic. It's one of the best events I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you could see anything better. I mean, not only do you have the two greatest, potentially the two of the three greatest tennis players of all time, but they're playing, there was no breaks, and then you get to the fifth set, there were 2 breaks each.
And Federer had two shots with the serve to close out the match, and Joker managed to stave them both off, and then he got him in the tiebreaker. It was those don't come along that often. Enjoy them when they do.
Dwayne's sitting there going, damn, I wish I watched it.
No, not really. I'm not a big tennis guy, so
well, neither
honestly,
am I. I basically never watch tennis. I don't follow the sport closely, but this was Titanic stuff. I mean, it was just incredible.
Dave, there was a 35-point rally.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Tomorrow, Dave and Tony Finn and I, Dwayne, you're the best. I love having you on because Dave doesn't talk totals and you love talking totals. It's a beautiful balance. Enjoy your trip to Orlando. Dave, we'll see you tomorrow. Guys, Prez is out.
Adios.
See you.